Welcome to a video tutorial on NetBeat, the first irrigation system with a brain. In this tutorial, we will learn how to install and wire the NetMCU. We will demonstrate how to mount the NetMCU, connect the power supply, set up communication, and wire the NetMCU to some external devices. Let's start with mounting the NetMCU. There are two main options to mount it, either on a wall or on a dosing system. In order to mount the NetMCU on a wall, locate an appropriate area. To hang the NetMCU, use a proper wall mount device. Take the part that should be connected to the wall, locate it, make sure it is leveled, and mark the screws' locations. Attach the panel to the wall using the screws. Take the part that should be connected to the NetMCU and screw it to the NetMCU backside using the anchors. Then, hang the NetMCU on the wall. The NetMCU is usually pre-installed on the dosing machine. In case of new installation, fitting is required with guidance from the support team. Once the NetMCU is placed, we can connect it to a power supply. Notice, this action must be done by a certified electrician. The power supply can be set to either 110 volts or 220 volts. The system is delivered according to your country's power requirements. First, insert a power cable through the designated gland. Lead the cable to the power supply. Make sure to set the suitable cable length. Tighten the gland. Unscrew and open the power supply drawer. Connect the wires according to the wiring scheme as follows. The brown wire should be fixed to live, the blue wire should be fixed to neutral, and the yellow and green wire should be fixed to earth. Close the power supply drawer and screw it back in. Connect the power supply and the battery to the power tile. Now the NetMCU can be connected to the power outlet. In order to connect the NetMCU to the cloud, you can choose one of two communication options, either connecting a physical cable using the Ethernet port or connecting through cellular network using a full-size SIM card. External devices such as valves, pumps, a weather station, and more can be directly connected to the NetMCU. Control devices such as valves, pumps, filters, etc. can be connected to the NetMCU using the AC/DC tile. For example, to connect this valve to the NetMCU, take the relevant cable from the valve junction box, punch the bottom silicon panel using a small head screwdriver, and slide the cable through it. Expose the wires, and if a plastic tunnel is available, lead the cable through it and connect the wires to one of the digital outputs of the AC/DC tile. Make sure each wire is connected to the appropriate connector according to the wiring scheme. Monitoring devices, such as water meters, can be connected to the NetMCU using the analog tile. For example, to connect this water meter to the NetMCU, take the relevant cable from the junction box, punch the bottom silicon panel using a small head screwdriver, and slide the cable through it. Connect the wires to an available port in the analog tile. Make sure each wire is connected to the appropriate connector according to the wiring scheme. In case the water meter requires power supply, connect the third wire to the upper connector. External devices with serial connections such as RS-232 or RS-485 can be connected to the NetMCU using the controller tile. For example, to connect this weather station that has RS-232 serial connection to the NetMCU, take the relevant cable from the junction box, punch the bottom silicon panel using a small head screwdriver, and slide the cable coming from the weather station through it. Connect the wires to the RS-232 port of the controller tile. Make sure each wire is connected to the appropriate connector according to the wiring scheme. Once the NetMCU is properly installed and wired, it is now ready to be configured into the world's most advanced irrigation and fertigation platform.